Ecclesiastes 1. And everything seems temporary. These are the words of the teacher, son of David and king in Jerusalem. Everything seems meaningless. Everything seems pointless. Nothing in this world can bring complete satisfaction. What does a person gain from all the hard work they do throughout their entire life? What do they truly get from it? People are born, live, and die, but the earth continues to exist. The sun rises, the sun sets, and then rushes back to rise again the next day. The wind blows to one side, then to the other, turning endlessly and always returning to its starting point. All rivers flow into the sea, yet the sea is never full. The water keeps circulating and returning to the same cycle. Everything in life requires effort. It is even hard to describe how much. Our eyes are never satisfied with seeing more, and our ears are never satisfied with hearing more. What has happened before will happen again. What has already been done will be done again. There is nothing truly new in this world. When someone says, "Look, this is something completely new," in reality, something similar already existed long before us. People forget the past, and in the future, the next generations will also be forgotten by those who come after them. The search for the meaning of life. I, the teacher, was king over Israel in Jerusalem. I decided to use all my intelligence to understand everything that happens in this world. I discovered that this is a difficult task that God has given to human beings. I observed everything people do under the sun and realized that many things seem like chasing the wind. They require effort, but do not bring lasting satisfaction. There are problems that cannot be easily solved. There are things missing that cannot simply be completed. I said to myself, I have more wisdom and knowledge than all who ruled Jerusalem before me. Then I tried to understand wisdom, as well as foolishness and lack of judgment, and I realized that this pursuit is also like trying to grasp the wind, because the more knowledge a person gains, the more they see the problems of life, and the more they understand reality, the more suffering they may feel. This message from this chapter teaches us that the search for satisfaction only in things of this world, such as work, wealth, knowledge, fame, or achievements, will never be enough to fill the human heart. Everything is temporary. Generations pass, and life continues its endless cycle. Chapter 1 leads us to deeply reflect on where we place our hope and on the true meaning of existence. Ecclesiastes 2, the search for happiness and wealth. I said to myself, I will experience everything that can bring me pleasure and happiness, but I discovered that it was also meaningless. I realized that laughter alone does not solve the problems of life, and temporary joy does not answer the deepest questions of the heart. So I experienced the pleasures of life. I enjoyed parties, wine, and entertainment without completely abandoning wisdom to discover what really matters during the few years we have in this world. I built great projects. I built houses for myself and planted vineyards. I created gardens and parks full of fruit trees of all kinds. I built reservoirs of water to irrigate the plantations and keep everything green. I acquired many servants and workers. I owned more herds and wealth than anyone who lived before me in Jerusalem. I gathered silver, gold, and treasures. I hired singers and musicians to entertain me. I had access to everything people usually desire. I became more powerful and richer than all my predecessors, and even so, I continued seeking understanding and wisdom. Everything my eyes desired, I obtained. I did not deny myself any pleasure. I enjoyed the results of my work, and that was the reward I received for everything I did. But when I stopped to look at everything I had achieved and all the effort I had invested, I realized that it was like chasing the wind. Nothing brought lasting satisfaction or a true purpose for life. The limitation of human wisdom. After this, I began to reflect on wisdom, foolishness, and lack of understanding. I realized that wisdom is better than foolishness, just as light is better than darkness. The wise person sees where he is going, while the fool walks without direction. But I also noticed something disturbing. Both the wise and the fool end up reaching the same destination. Then I thought, if in the end I will die the same way as the fool, why did I put so much effort into seeking wisdom? And I concluded that this too seems meaningless. Over time, both the wise and the fool will be forgotten. Future generations will hardly remember them. In the end, both die. Because of this, I became discouraged with life, for everything that happens in this world seemed heavy and difficult to understand. Everything felt like chasing the wind. Wisdom and prosperity is not just a channel. It is a movement of those who have chosen to prosper with wisdom. Click the button and become part of it. If this content gave you a new insight, your subscription is the fuel that allows us to continue. Let's grow together. Ecclesiastes 3. There is a right time for everything. Everything in life happens at the time determined by God. There is a proper moment for every situation under heaven. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to harvest what has been planted. A time to wound and a time to heal. A time to tear down and a time to build. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to celebrate. A time to scatter stones and a time to gather them. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to search and a time to let go. A time to keep and a time to throw away. A time to tear and a time to mend. A time to be silent and a time to speak. A time to love and a time to hate. A time for war and a time for peace. God controls the times. In light of all this, what does a person truly gain from all their hard work? I have observed that God has given human beings the responsibility to live, work, and learn during their journey on earth. God made everything beautiful and appropriate in its proper time. He placed in the human heart the desire to understand life and eternity. However, no one can fully understand everything God does from beginning to end. I concluded that the best thing a person can do is live with joy and seek to do good while alive. I also realized that eating, drinking, and enjoying the results of one's work is a gift from God. I know that everything God does is permanent. No one can add anything to what He has done, nor remove anything from what He has established. God acts this way so that people may respect Him and recognize His authority. What exists today has already existed before. And what will happen in the future is already part of God's plans. Nothing escapes His control. Wisdom and prosperity is not just a channel. It is a movement of those who have chosen to prosper with wisdom. Click the button and join. If this content gave you a new insight, your subscription is the fuel that keeps this mission alive. Let's grow together. The justice of God does not fail. I also observed something troubling in this world. Often where there should be justice, there is injustice, and where there should be righteousness, there is evil. Then I thought to myself, God will judge both the righteous and the wicked, because there is a time determined for every action and every person. I also realized that God allows certain situations to show human beings who they truly are. When we look only at earthly life, we see that the physical destiny of humans and animals seems the same. Just as animals die, humans also die. All breathe the same air, and all are fragile. Without God, life seems like a passing cycle. All came from the dust of the earth, and all will return to dust. Who can fully understand the mysteries of life? and what happens after death. Enjoy the present that God has given you. Therefore, I concluded that there is nothing better than a person finding joy in their work and enjoying the opportunities God gives them. This is their portion in this life. After all, no one can return after leaving to see everything that will happen in the future. This message teaches us that even the greatest human experiences, pleasure, parties, wealth, success, great projects, knowledge, and work, are not capable of fully satisfying the human heart. Solomon shows that even after achieving everything many people desire, he realized that none of it fills the inner emptiness. The true meaning of life is not found in achievements, but in recognizing God as the source of wisdom, joy, and the ability to enjoy every blessing. Without God at the center, even the greatest success becomes empty and temporary. Ecclesiastes 4, the injustices and sufferings of life. I looked again at everything that happens under the sun and realized how much unjust suffering exists among people. I saw many crying because of oppression, with no one to defend or comfort them. Those who had power were in advantage, while the weak remained forgotten and without help. Faced with so much pain, I began to think that those who had already died were in a better situation than those still living through such harsh realities. And at one point, I even thought it would be better not to have been born than to witness so much injustice and suffering. The trap of envy and competition. I also noticed that many people work intensely, not only out of necessity, but to outshine others. Envy and the desire to compete become the fuel behind much of their effort. This also has no meaning and is like chasing the wind. On the other hand, some choose laziness and end up destroying their own lives through lack of action. I understood that it is better to have enough and live in peace than to live under constant pressure trying to always surpass someone else. A simple and balanced life is worth more than an existence marked by anxiety and comparison. The danger of living only to accumulate. I also noticed a sad situation. A completely lonely person with no family or companions, working endlessly. Even while accumulating wealth, they were never satisfied, and they never stopped to ask themselves, who am I working so hard for? What is the meaning of all this effort? This too is empty and a heavy burden in life. The strength of companionship. I understood that walking together is better than walking alone. When two people work together, the results are better. If one falls, the other can help lift them up. But whoever is alone and falls has no one to help them. Likewise, two can keep each other warm, while one alone suffers more from the cold. If someone is attacked, two can resist better. And a rope made of 3 strands is much stronger than one alone. Life becomes stronger when there is friendship, unity, and true support. Power is temporary. I also observed that a young, wise, and humble person can be more valuable than an old king who is proud and no longer accepts advice. I saw people rise from poverty to positions of greatness, while others lost everything they once had. Crowds may follow a leader for a while, but that admiration does not last. New generations arise and choose other names. Fame, power, and popularity do not remain. All of this is also empty and temporary. Wisdom is not a single moment, but a daily habit. If you want to strengthen your mindset every day, click the subscribe button and join our restricted circle. More than 3,000 hours of wisdom have already been consumed here. If you're not subscribed yet, you're leaving half of the knowledge on the table. Commit now to your growth. The algorithm brought you here for a reason. Do not lose track of your wisdom. Subscribe so you don't miss the next message of wisdom. Ecclesiastes 5. Reverence. When speaking to God, approach God with care and respect. When entering His presence, be more willing to listen than to speak empty words. Do not speak carelessly, for God is in heaven, and we are on earth. Therefore speak with simplicity and wisdom. Many words without reflection become a sign of foolishness. When you make a vow to God, fulfill it without delay. Empty promises do not please the Lord. It is better not to promise than to promise and not fulfill it. God observes everything that is said and takes every word seriously. Therefore, show reverence and responsibility before Him. The illusion of wealth and injustice. When you see injustice in the world, do not be surprised, for it exists in every level of society. There is always someone above another, and even the most powerful depends on something greater to survive. I also realized that those who love money are never satisfied. The more they have, the more they want. This too is empty and does not bring rest to the heart. As wealth increases, so do worries. The simple worker, even with little, sleeps in peace, while the rich often live in anxiety. The danger of accumulating without enjoying life. I saw something sad. People who accumulate wealth, but end up harmed by it. Wealth can disappear suddenly, and often it is not even enjoyed by the children. A person comes into the world with nothing and leaves with nothing. All effort is left behind. This is also like chasing the wind. Working only to accumulate without enjoying brings anxiety and frustration. The true gift of God. But there is something simple and beautiful in life. The best thing a person can do is enjoy what they receive each day. Eating, drinking, and enjoying the fruits of one's labor is a gift from God. When God allows someone to enjoy their blessings with peace and joy, it is a divine gift. That person is not trapped by fear of the future or burdened by the past, because their heart is filled with God. Ecclesiastes 6. The frustration of having everything and not enjoying it. There is a deep problem I often see among people. Someone may receive from God wealth, possessions, and honor, lacking nothing they desire, yet still be unable to enjoy what they have. Others end up enjoying what that person has worked for. This is also empty and frustrating. A life without satisfaction. Imagine someone who lives many years, has children, and builds a long life story, yet never finds true joy. If in the end there is no satisfaction or inner rest, even a long life loses its meaning. That person enters the world with nothing and leaves it the same way. They lived, but did not enjoy life. And in the end, everyone reaches the same destination. Desire that is never satisfied. Human effort often revolves around seeking more, but the heart is rarely satisfied. The wise and the foolish both face similar limits in life. I realized it is better to value what one already has than to endlessly chase desires. But even that, when done without balance, can become empty. The limitation of human beings. Human beings are limited by nature. They cannot go beyond what has been given to them. There are many things in this world that, when used as the meaning of life, only increase emptiness. In the end, what is really gained from so much effort in such a short life? It passes quickly like a shadow. The mystery of the future. No one truly knows what is best for a person during their life, and no one can predict what will happen afterward. The future remains hidden when life is viewed only under the sun. Ecclesiastes 7. Wisdom and the true value of life. It is better to have a good reputation than expensive perfumes, and the day of death, in some ways, can teach more than the day of birth. It is better to go to a house of mourning than to a house full of celebrations, because there we are reminded of the end of all people, and this leads the heart to reflection. It is better sorrow than empty laughter, because a sad face can produce a wiser heart. The heart of the wise learns more in difficult situations, while the heart of fools only seeks entertainment. It is better to listen to the correction of a wise person than to listen to songs and empty words of a fool. The laughter of a fool is like the sound of burning thorns in a fire. It makes a lot of noise, but it does not last. This too is meaningless. Oppression can even drive the wise person into madness, and bribery corrupts the heart. Patience and self-control. It is better to finish something than to start it. It is better to be patient than to be proud. Do not be quick to become angry, for anger lives in the heart of fools. Do not say, "The old days were better than today," because this kind of thinking does not come from wisdom. Wisdom is as valuable as an inheritance because it protects and benefits those who possess it. Just as money protects, wisdom also protects, but wisdom gives life to its owner. Accepting God's times. Observe everything God does. No one can change what He has determined. In good days, enjoy what is good. In difficult days, reflect and learn, because God has placed both in the world so that human beings cannot fully control the future. The limitation of human justice. I realized that the righteous do not always prosper, and the wicked are not always punished immediately. Therefore, do not be overly righteous or excessively wise, as if you could control everything on your own. This can lead to destruction. But do not be foolish or rebellious either, because that shortens life. Balance and reverence for God are the path of protection. Wisdom strengthens more than many powerful men combined. The reality of human nature. There is no one perfectly righteous on earth who never sins. Therefore, do not take everything people say too seriously, because you yourself have already spoken wrongly about others. The difficult search for wisdom. I deeply sought to understand wisdom and the meaning of life, but I realized it is far deeper than human beings can reach. The past is distant and difficult to understand, and the future is a mystery. Even so, I continued seeking to understand the difference between wisdom and foolishness, the fragility of relationships, and the human heart. There is something dangerous in the world, people and situations that can trap the heart and lead to spiritual destruction. Those who walk in wisdom can escape these traps, but those who live in wrongdoing end up caught by them. The difficulty of finding a perfect person. After seeking to understand all this, I reached a conclusion. Among many people, it is difficult to find someone truly righteous and balanced. Human beings were created with righteousness, but along the way, they drifted and created many complicated paths. This showed me something important. Wisdom is often more powerful than strength, but it is not always recognized. Even so, wisdom is still greater than strength. The power of wisdom versus the weakness of sin. The words of the wise should be heard carefully, even if spoken quietly. They are more valuable than the loud shouting of fools. Wisdom is stronger than weapons of war, but a single mistake or sin can destroy many good things. Ecclesiastes 10 Wisdom and Foolishness. Just as a small dead fly can spoil an entire bottle of perfume, so a small mistake can destroy the reputation of someone wise and respected. The heart of the wise leads him on the right path, but the heart of the fool leads him into error. Even when a fool walks along the road, his lack of understanding reveals him to everyone as a fool. Wisdom in life and power. If a ruler becomes angry with you, do not quickly leave your position. Humility and calmness can prevent great problems. I observed something sad in this world. Incompetent people in high positions, while qualified people are placed in low positions. I have seen servants riding horses and princes walking on foot like servants. The dangers of lack of wisdom. Whoever digs a pit may fall into it. Whoever breaks a wall may be bitten by a hidden snake. Whoever works with stones may get hurt, and whoever splits wood is exposed to danger. If an iron tool is dull, more strength is needed, but wisdom makes every task more efficient. Wisdom is the best guide for any kind of work. The danger of words and foolishness. A snake may strike before it is charmed, and uncontrolled words can also cause harm before it is noticed. The words of the wise bring benefit, but the words of the fool destroy those who hear them. The beginning of a fool's speech is foolishness, and the end is even worse. A fool talks too much, but no one knows what will happen in the future, not even himself. The life of the fool and the importance of order. The work of a fool tires him out, because he does not even know the basic path of life. Woe to the land whose king is immature, and whose leaders spend their time in feasting and excess from an early age. But happy is the land whose king comes from noble character, and whose leaders know the right time to act, seeking strength instead of pleasure. Warning against laziness and careless speech. Excess laziness causes even the roof of a house to collapse, and lack of effort leads everything to decay. People hold feasts to laugh and drink, but in the end, everything revolves around money. Never curse the king, not even in secret, and do not speak badly of the rich, even in your thoughts, because what you say in secret can eventually be revealed, as if birds carried the message across the sky. True wisdom is not only in hearing, but in remaining consistent in what transforms your mind. If this content has already brought clarity to you, consider subscribing now and becoming part of those who do not only learn, but grow with purpose every day. Final message of Ecclesiastes 10. This message teaches us that life is uncertain and that everyone, without exception, faces the same destiny, regardless of whether they are good or bad. Solomon reinforces the importance of living with joy, gratitude, and dedication while there is life, making use of every opportunity God gives in the present. Chapter 10 also shows that time and circumstances are unpredictable, and that no one has full control over what may happen. Finally, it highlights that wisdom is extremely valuable, even when it is not recognized, because it can be more powerful than strength, position, or prestige. Ecclesiastes 11. The wisdom of acting with courage and prudence. Share what you have generously, like someone who casts bread upon the waters, for in due time you will see its return. Divided among many people, be generous, and do not live trapped by fear of the future, because you do not know what difficulties may come upon the earth. Just as clouds filled with rain eventually pour out water, and a fallen tree remains where it fell, there are things in life that cannot be changed once they happen. Do not be paralyzed by fear. Whoever waits for the perfect moment to act will never plant anything, and whoever only waits for ideal conditions will never harvest anything. Just as you do not understand the path of the wind or how life forms in the womb, you also cannot fully understand the works of God. God acts in ways that are beyond human understanding. Work while there is time. Sow in the morning and continue working in the afternoon, for you do not know which effort will bring the best results. It may be one, it may be another, or both together, but the important thing is not to stop. Life is full of possibilities, and those who work consistently harvest more than those who wait for the perfect moment. The beauty of life and the reality of time. Light is good, and it is pleasant to see the sun and live the days of life. But even if a person lives many years and enjoys all of them, they must remember that difficult days will also come, because human life in the end passes quickly, and all of this is temporary. Youth and life choices. Enjoy your youth be happy, and follow the desires of your heart while you are young. Follow what your eyes see and enjoy life. But do not forget, God will bring everything into judgment. Therefore, remove sadness, control your anger, and avoid evil, because youth also passes quickly. If this message reached you, it was not by chance. There is a kind of wisdom that is not only found by reading, but by staying connected to it every day. Subscribe now, and do not miss the next teachings, because each new content may be exactly the insight that changes the way you see life. Ecclesiastes 12. Remember God while there is still time. Remember your Creator while you are still young, before the difficult days of life come, when you will no longer find pleasure as before. Before strength declines, vision weakens, and life begins to lose its brightness. Before the time comes when the body no longer responds as before, and the signs of old age appear. Before vitality fades, appetite disappears, and life becomes more fragile. Because one day, life comes to an end, and people begin to mourn the departure. The fragility of human life. Before life breaks like a silver cord, or like a golden vessel shattered, or like a pitcher broken at the spring, everything comes to an end. Then the body returns to the dust of the earth from which it came, and the spirit returns to God who gave it. Everything is temporary. Everything is passing. The end of reflection. Everything is meaningless and fleeting. Says the teacher, everything is like chasing the wind. The value of wisdom. The teacher, being wise, taught the people carefully. He studied, reflected, and wrote many proverbs. He sought correct, true, and useful words to transmit wisdom. The words of the wise are like tools that correct and guide, firmly set like well-driven nails. All of this comes from God, the true shepherd of humanity. Warning against excess information. My son, be careful. There is no end to the making of many books, and too much study can tire the mind. The true meaning of life. After everything has been said, here is the final conclusion. Fear God and obey His commandments, for this is the essential duty of every human being. God will bring every deed into judgment, even what is hidden, whether good or evil.